Let's make a adorable little Beetlejuice-inspired pumpkin today. Super quick and super easy and perfect for the season. The materials you're going to need will be black and white yarn, green and purple in acrylic yarn, a size 4 G hook, and scissors and some fiber fill, and of course a cup of tea. We'll begin with black and we'll get it onto the hook, leaving a 4-inch tail. And what we'll do is chain. Here we go. Get this ready to go. We're going to chain 19. And just a word of advice, don't chain it too tightly because you want to make sure that you're able to single crochet back into that chain. So go ahead and chain, oops, get a bit more here. Chain 19, and then when you get to the end, what you'll do is single crochet into the second chain from the hook and then back down into each remaining chain. Got just a few more here. 1, 2, 3. All right, so into the second chain from the hook is a single crochet, and then we'll just make our way back down the chain. That will give us 18 stitches on this row. All right, we're going to come to the end here and we're going to change color. So I'm going to just finish this row with white, chain 1 and turn it around. And now I'm going to single crochet back loop only up for this row. And that's how you create the rib stitch. So when you're creating your pumpkin, just make sure to single crochet back loop only. We'll also be doing 2 rows black and 2 rows white in a pattern for the entire way up. So when you get to the end of the second row, you're not going to fasten your yarn off. You're just going to carry it over. So, and there's something going on with my hook here. It seems to be snagging. All right, so you'll notice that I'm working in the back loops only, and that's what gives the pumpkin the ridgy sort of effect. All right, I'm coming to the end. I just wanted to show you that color change, but just give me 1 second. All right, so there was something wrong with my other hook, so I'm using a new one here. So I'm just gonna change over to black again, and this is what I wanted to show you, is how I'm just carrying this black over from the first time I used it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start back up again. So again, it's just 2 rows black and 2 rows white to create those stripes. Continue on doing this until you have 32 rows on your pumpkin. Now what we're going to do is we're going to assemble the pumpkin. So I see that I've got a couple of little threads still poking out from when I was using my bad hook. So I'm just going to take care of those. So I'm going to snip off my black and then I'm going to snip off my white. I'm going to leave quite a long tail, about 15 inches. And I'm just going to use my hook to pull these threads through. And that's one of the good things about crochet, is that often you can hide your mistakes. So I'll just pull those through. All right, perfect. So I'm going to grab my tapestry needle and get this long tail into it. And then I'm going to fold this in half and just sew the two ends together. And when I come to the end, I want to just secure this with a knot. There we go, nice and secure. Tuck in the ends, and the next step is to gather around the top. So I'm just going to weave my my tapestry needle in and out along the top edge there. And we've come to the end, and now I'm going to just pull it tight, and you'll see when we cinch it together, it brings those ends together. And I'm going to just fasten this here. I'm going to secure it with a knot. Just have to find a good place to do this. There we go. Secure it with a knot. And then let's bring the tapestry needle up to the other side. So you can see I've got this little pumpkin cup now kind of forming. Let's put in some fiberfill. You'll notice that I'm holding it on the outside. I'm supporting it with my other hand. So that's what you want to make sure you're doing when you're stuffing anything. You want to stuff and shape. I'm going to poke my needle through because we're going to gather the top edge. You'll notice that I didn't put too much fiberfill in. I'm going to put in some more just before we close it. So let's gather this top edge too. All right, that looks good. I'm going to just add a little bit more fiberfill here. And the nice thing about it is that you can kind of feel around and see where you want that fiberfill to be. The good thing about these little pumpkins is that they don't have to be perfect, because no pumpkin is. So I'm just going to keep doing that. I think I will add a little bit more over here. And I'm ready to close it up. So I'm just cinching that, and I'm going to tie a knot here. So we're just going to close this up and secure it. There we go. Well, it's kind of coming loose a little bit, but that'll be okay. This is a time, this is like one time when it would be okay to have that be a little bit loose up there, because we're going to cover it with a stem and a vine anyways. And I'm just going to move that fiberfill around in the center shape it a little bit. And now what I'm doing is I'm going back and forth through the center to pull those two ends together, and that kind of gives it a, I don't even know what the shape would be, but it gives it that pumpkin-y shape where it's sort of flattened a little bit but puckered in on the at the center. So that's what I'm going for here. And once I've done that a few times to make it nice and secure, again I fasten it with a knot. And then I always tell you, make sure you weave that tail in and out a few times because you don't want it working its way out. If you leave a tail that's about 2 inches, it's going to work its way out and there's going to be nothing you can do about it. So weave it in and out a few times. Let's make the stem. With purple, we're going to get it onto our hook. I'm just going to grab the right end here. And when I'm putting it on the hook, I'm going to leave about a 4-inch tail because we're going to be using that to tie the stem onto the center of the pumpkin. And this part is just so easy. It's so nice. All right, about my 4-inch tail. So chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and single crochet into the second chain from the hook and into each remaining chain. That will give us 4 single crochets all together. All right, fasten off, leaving another 4-inch tail. I've got about 6 inches here, but that's all right. Better to have too much than too little. Go ahead and pop it onto your tapestry needle and sew it. Which side do I want? Yeah, I like that side better. Sew it to the center. Give it one good stitch there, and then use the tails to tie it on. So make sure that you have a nice tight knot. There's 1 and 2. And we'll just hide these tails. Last up is the vine. So we're going to grab our green yarn and get it onto our hook. Again, leaving about a 4-inch tail because we're going to tie it on just like we did with the stem. And this time we're going to chain 19. When we get to the top, we're going to work 3 single crochets into the second chain from the hook. So here's 1, 2, 3, and now work 3 single crochets into the remaining chains. So you're going to have whatever 3 times 18 is. I think it's 54. So what'll happen is as you go, this will turn into a spiral, and yeah, and that's the vine. Here we come to the end, and I'm going to fasten this off. Of course, I did more than 4 inches, but you really only need 4 inches. And we're going to just sew this to the pumpkin exactly the same way that we got that stem on. So we will just stitch it directly to the pumpkin, the center of the pumpkin, right beside the stem, and we will tie it on nice and tight. So you can make a whole bunch of these and pile them up in a bowl for a centerpiece, or you could even try using them for a Halloween wreath, or give them to your favorite trick-or-treaters. I think it's a cute little project. And it goes quite nicely with the jellyfish I made. I'll just bring him in to show you. There you go. Same techniques. I love those colors. Hope you enjoyed. Have a great day. Thanks for joining.